And you're good. Now you're live. Welcome to another draw of the Yale Super Spiel. That's what this is called. Yeah, the Yale Super Spiel, the seventh draw. This is these teams out here now are playing their third games of the tournament. I'm Ed Simia, broadcasting again, and with me today we have a very special guest.
Allison Goldberg.
Yeah, former Yale curler, former Nutmeg curler, back to just to broadcast this game. Or maybe to visit all the people that are still up this way that she hasn't seen in a while. But and then she also brought a Frank Kemper to do some production work for us, so that's great. So yeah, generally what we'll do, because we don't have the too many of the we don't have like long view cameras to follow down the sheet, is the one thing we're missing right now. So what we'll generally do is start, at least we have that, which gives us like camera one. If you switch to that, you've used this before, so yeah, if you transition over to that, just put it on. You can hit quick play or cut, or yeah. So that's what's live, and that's the preview window. So yeah, so that'll give us our view of the three games going on at once, and I think our feature game today is going
to be Sheet B, Bowdoin 1 versus UPenn.
Yeah, it looks like UPenn is playing the Red Rocks and Bowdoin with the yellow. And I'm trying to figure out, looks like Red has the hammer, so that'd be Penn with the hammer. Now, you were friends with a lot of the Penn people. Are some of these new to you, or do you know everyone is out there?
3/4 of them are somewhat new. So Adam, who's thrown right now, was at our spiel last year.
Ah, that's right.
On the Penn team.
Okay. And of course, we have the overhead views too that you can use.
Fun fact about Adam: he is from Christchurch, New Zealand.
Yeah. When it's too warm to curl, he spends his time rock climbing, and he wants to say hi to Ben. So if Ben's listening, hi Ben. So we've had the UPenn facts. I have not done the Bowdoin ones yet. So as they come out to curl, so this is the Bowdoin skip. Tom Escaro, fourth-year curler, a senior from Buffalo, New York, studying earth and ocean science. What is he fond of?
The outdoors and kayaking.
Ah, okay. He wants to say hi to his grandma and his mom.
And his phone number in case of
Yeah, we're probably not going to do the phone numbers so much, but all right, so.
You'll have to ask them yourself, ladies.
Yes. So looking at the overhead, it looks like Red sitting one right now. So Red with sitting one with the hammer. As Cody.
I'm not sure that Red has the hammer.
I'm wrong. You're right. So no, yeah, Red has the hammer. Red has 2 rocks left. Yellow has 1 rock left. So, yeah.
They just put it in that opposite spot.
They sure did. So, Cody, and I'm going to say his last name right, Klauser?
Yeah.
Klauser? Okay. I've been saying it correctly, then I wasn't sure. Cody Klauser drawing in here to sit 2.
I think it's an intentional angled bump back.
Yeah, it looks like it. And, yeah, it looks like they're still sitting one now, a bit guarded. But Tom here has a chance to make a double and pretty much force one if he makes a nice shot here. Be hard to go anywhere where, well, you could threaten to steal, but. Right, shots away, sweepers are on it, and trying to hold it on the line here to get both. Oh, just actually was a bit of directional sweeping. They got the guard and actually kicked red in to sit second. Oh, no, moved enough not to sit second, but that yellow is now wide open. Cody's going to have an open hit for 4. I'm going to just move it so Allison can see too. Yeah, going to be an open hit for 4 on the nose. Should be a nice start for Penn. All right, rocks away from Cody, closer to last rock of the first end.
Sweepers are putting in a moderate amount of energy, so it's
and that looks like it was just fine. That's going to be 4 red, so big end to start the game from Penn. Bowdoin will take the hammer in the second, try to get at least a couple of those back. And we have a House Martell banner up there on the on sheet B, which I'm not sure if that belongs to Penn or Bowdoin, actually, but they put a Game of Thrones banner up there.
Yeah, I'm not going to be helpful with any of the Game of Thrones references. I haven't gotten past season 1.
There you go. That's all right. Yeah, the Penn team for the costume contest had Cody dressed up as Daenerys Targaryen.
I heard that.
With 2 of his teammates had little, like, I don't know what you'd call it, like almost like the paper flowers that you make, but they were holding them with their mouths, and they were orange and red, so they were dragons. So he went Dracarys for and they went red. So very creative. Ooh, this one's just gonna slip over the. Nope,
no,
didn't quite make it.
Quite.
Right on the hog line.
That was a full-length sweep that came up just short.
Let's see what Bowdoin can set up for their end then. First rock of the end looks a little hot. This is. And yeah, that one's going to come through the house. That's the lead for Bowdoin is Victor Lee from Portland, Oregon. Who wants to say hi to Mom? Say hi, Mom. The oohs and ahs, which you'd normally associate with shots on the ice, are actually for a crokinole game that's going on over on sheet A. In the warm room, yes. All right. Penn taking a second shot at getting this center guard up. This one looks better. It doesn't have the. Oh, they're actually looking to hog it now because it was on the.
It's a bit more of a corner guard than a center.
Yeah. So a very clean end so far.
It does make it tough for Bowdoin to get a higher score if there are no guards for them to hide behind.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. But the good news is it makes it hard for Penn to steal 2, so they can at least play for a point or a blank. This one also looks a little bit hot. Super's kind of let it go. It may stick around in the house. Just nope. Looks like Adams gonna get it out by just an inch or 2. It might still be. Well, I think it's out of play too. Oh, it is. It looks like. Oh, they're moving it back a little. Was there some illegal sweeping? Did he sweep earlier? I don't know. He did move it back an inch or 2. In any case, the rock is in play. It looks like they moved it in play, but not into the house. So.
I don't know why.
Me either.
I didn't catch that.
No.
Oh, it was a perfect time to use the replay, and I missed it.
Oh, no. It's okay. Our executive producer, Frank Kemper, is upset with himself for not triggering the instant replay. That is a more complicated use of it, but we're not going to do that on the fly. Like, you can go back and find events.
Have we established what the rules for instant replay's role in decisions is in curling? It varies from
So I think you have to throw a flag. No instant replay. I actually can't say that. That's not true because I've watched on TV and some of the larger events. If they're not sure where to put a rock back, they'll look at the replay. I don't think there's anything in the rules that governs this. I think the players have
Yeah.
just decided to use it as an aid at times in high-level events that have like the jumbotrons in the arena. Scotty's is going on right now, so there's some
Scotty's Tournament of Hearts.
Tournament of Hearts. Very good.
The plan.
The playing game was won by Enerson, which, as we said, is if Kathy Dunn's listening, I apologize for saying this. It makes our fantasy curling league much more interesting because team in first place had Carrie, and that would have been worth a lot of points had she won that game because she was likely going to do very well in the Scotties. Now,
How did she end up not in the tournament?
I forget who beat her in the provincials, but a lot of these provincial championships are pretty strong, so you'll see top teams miss out. So they changed the format this year, where you still get in through the provincials, but every territory also has its own team. So there's a Nunavut and a Yukon and everything. And when they did that, it bumped it up to a 15-team field, which is awkward. So they added a wild card as the 16th team. And the top two teams that didn't qualify otherwise got into this wild card game.
Are the Scotties normally later in the year?
I think it's about now, because they usually have them pretty far. But you might be right. It might be more like February.
I don't know.
It could have been affected by the Olympics. I don't know when the Brier is actually scheduled for this year.
Yeah. I know all of the American national stuff was impacted by the Olympics.
Yeah, we were talking about it on another draw that Cody Klauser is going to men's nationals later this season. That was his fun fact also, that he is going to men's nationals in Fargo, North Dakota, playing on Team Dunham.
I almost cracked a North Dakota joke, but
well, you never know who's out there.
Might be watching.
You never know. Brian could be watching. So we do have 8 viewers right now. Thanks for tuning in. Our all-time high at Nutmeg for any Spiel, the finals of the Spiel, we had 30-something for the Golden Handle final. I think so far this weekend we've topped out at 15. All right. Well, Penn has the guard up.
Adams Rock is a solid center guard.
Yeah, solid center guard. Adam's interesting fact is that when it's too warm to curl, he likes to spend his time rock climbing.
I think we said that out loud.
It's possible we did. I think I wasn't sure.
But he still likes to rock climb.
He definitely also likes, or his major is math, so we didn't say that. He's majoring in math. But, yeah.
He came all the way from Christchurch, New Zealand to study math at Penn.
Yeah.
And Kylie Best of Bowdoin has thrown a rock that they're trying to sneak around behind those 2 red rocks.
Oh, that's going to be a beautiful draw. Sorry, it should at least be partially buried behind those center guards. Not bad at all. Very nice throw.
So Kylie does have fun facts, but a fun fact of my own. A couple months ago, I found myself subbing in on a league night game with Kylie's uncle in Arizona.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, Kylie's from Scottsdale, Arizona.
And it was in the same week that Cody had played against his team in a Spiel in Canada.
So the connection's all over the place here.
So yeah, Kylie's uncle gets around.
Yeah. Good to know. Yeah, like that's Adams Rock doesn't quite get here. They're looking to come around the other way, and it's just going to come up a bit short, leave another corner guard. So now there's an opportunity for Bowdoin to build an end here. They've got one in and looking to sit 2.
Yeah. Speaking of Kylie's family, she wants to say hi to her mom, her dad, and her grandparents. So hello to everyone.
To a lot of the Best family. I'm not saying they are the objectively best family, but their name is Best. They might be the best family. I don't know. Yeah.
They seem pretty nice.
Yeah, you've met some of them, so you would know. I hope some of you guys are listening to watch Kylie's game.
They are in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona.
Draw attempt comes up short. Actually ended up hogging there, so Bowdoin still sitting 1, mostly buried behind that center red guard. We'll see what Cody elects to do here. Could be.
I think he's doing a tap back.
Yeah. So that line looks like it's 4. Possibly some kind of draw around. Our rocks are curling a bit more than we had very straight ice, and then we flipped the rocks last week, and now they're curling a bit more. Hey, Mike Hope. Mike Hope right behind us. We have Allison Goldberg back. Yeah. And rocks on the way. Yeah, it does look like the kind of way where he's looking to play some sort of tap here, or in off perhaps on that red outside rock. Going right through, though, gets just a tiny tick, and looks like it's going to stay around the count in the back.
For 1.
Yeah, back 8, and behind all those center guards. So going to be difficult to get rid of that red. Yellow does have 2 rocks left, so Tom Escaro could.
Plenty of room to draw in.
Yeah, could still build a 2 here if he bury one and then draw for a second point.
Type in the scoreboard.
So, if you want to do the scoreboard, I'd use for one game this one. Hit right click, do title editor, and then you can set the red in the. And you need a keyboard.
Oh, what's this for?
4.
Yeah, so make sure you set up the team names first. Red is Penn. Yellow Bowdoin. DOIN.
They can once it passes the midway point of the house. So this stone the Hamilton's doing.
It will be soon. Yeah, it's.
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna show it until the end of the thing.
Yeah, red 4. Well, it's already up, so that's the red 4. Yeah, you did actually put it on the screen. Red 4.
Red 4.
Right.
Yellow, nothing.
Cody on Penn throws his first shot.
His second. He threw that tap back.
A second shot.
Yeah.
An
You're good.
attempt to just draw in.
Actually, one thing when you have a second, I'll fix a setting that on those so that it won't. This doesn't matter. You're good now. I was gonna say I think we have it on the scoreboards where like InstaClick brings it up instead of Yeah, just do the
And that one sits nicely.
Yeah. So red sitting 1-2, and with only 1 yellow rock remaining, looks like they'll be. Could play a hit for maybe hit it for 1. I'm not sure if they'll be counting or not. I think they can be full 8 if they hit. So.
I mean, there is a way to turn this into a double.
Absolutely, you can play this as a double. Just barely off nose would get both out. You could even come the longer double, play it across the face of the back one, and you probably won't roll out because you don't actually have to be at that sharp an angle to do it that way either. In any case, the hit's coming, and that's what he's playing for. Sweepers are on it. It looks wide. They're looking to try to do a little directional sweeping, but now it's just going to slide by, and that will be a steal of 2 for Penn, allowing them to jump out to a big 6-0 lead after 2 ends. Now we can say is that if, so it's for the editing, it's right click. Yeah. In fact, you can just minimize this box. It's probably the easiest way to do it when you're,
All of you listeners out there, you get to sit here.
Little
as
inside
Ed
baseball, and
teaches
just
Frank and
there you
I
go.
how
Boom,
to-
we got it. All right, you can just leave it up. It doesn't block anything. It's pretty far up on the screen. So, wow, what production work, folks? Am I right? Shout out in the chat if you think this is
Second and
professional.
third end, I got the scoreboard. Fourth end, we're working instant replay.
Oh boy, yeah.
Big dreams.
So updating the scores on the other sheets. Can you just pull up this thing because it'll have on sheet A we have RPI and Villanova, and they're just finishing up their second end. It was 1-0 Villanova after 1, I believe, but they're still in the middle of the second here. Sheet C.
Has
We have-
not hung a score.
No, it's not hung their first end score. They're in the middle of the second end, so we'll let you know when we know. It's Colgate and Hamilton. Colgate playing the Red Rocks. Actually did quite a bit of coverage of Hamilton's last game, and they lost a heartbreaker on Skip Rocks. All right, Penn again with a center guard, and Bowdoin gets their first rock into the back 12. It looks like Amaya Diana is looking to draw around that center guard. Might just end up. Super Zarafa looks like it's pretty good. Little hot maybe, but sticking around. Oh, late sweep in to try to bury that. And yeah.
Didn't quite bury it.
Didn't quite bury. Amaya's fun fact is that she looks like Gene Wilder. It's the hair.
She's not wrong. Obviously a much younger Gene Wilder.
Yes. Much younger, more female Gene Wilder. Yes.
Let's not make assumptions about Gene.
Okay, well, sorry, I did not mean to.
And we asked if she wanted to say hi to someone, and she said no.
No. So, no hellos
so
for
if
you.
you thought you were her loved one.
Yeah, that was harsh. All right, Penn's still sitting one behind their guard and maybe looking to put a second one in there. With Richard Whitaker throwing now.
He is from Charleston, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a materials science and engineering major. And he has some talents. In addition to curling, he can juggle and ride a unicycle. But not at the same time.
I wasn't sure if that was a reference. There's another team that had a couple things that they claim they can do at the same time. So I wasn't sure if that was one or the other was a reference to the other. The other one was clearly a little bit in jest. I forget which team it is. I could look through them, but.
Well, if he really can juggle, he's not the first Penn player to be able to do that.
Wow. I believe that this is true. It was more the other one that I think it's.
I spent an afternoon outside of the Smithsonian with former Penn player Elena, and
that's right.
she successfully got into a juggling line about 5 minutes after she learned to juggle.
Wow. Yeah, you had pictures of that on Facebook. I remember that. Unfortunate that they tried to come around the center guard, tapped it up. Penn sitting 2 in the forefoot now.
Oh, I want to call Richard Forrest.
Richard. Yeah.
Cody's throwing last rock.
He is throwing last rocks. He is vicing for. No, they're letting Adam call the game, it looks like. Or at least Adam's in the house. But it looks like he's been calling the game, at least for the most part. No. This weekend, yeah. If you need to mute your mic for any reason, I can show you how. Okay. If at a later point you do, there's a volume slider right on there, and if you click it, it mutes. You don't have to yeah.
So
And your the tip of your mic will
when
turn
I
red.
Shout all of those expletives.
Well, Allison's known for doing that. So.
If you want to see that, go look up the Durham, North Carolina Curling Club's YouTube
Yes,
stream.
we did hear some.
And find my in-house F-bombs.
Where you were playing with
I'm
two of the
sorry,
people playing.
Grandma.
Aww. In a spiel where you're playing with two of the people playing in this spiel.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. That attempted hit sails wide, so still looking at Penn sitting 2 here in the forefoot. And that was by who was their set? We haven't really. Oh, that was Charlotte.
Charlotte Hall.
Oh yeah.
Charlotte is from Palo Alto, California.
That is an interesting fact. In 6th grade, she was 11 inches taller than her twin sister. People do grow at different speeds. So.
I'd be interested to know if they're identical or not.
That's true. That would be odd, right? Yeah. She does want to say hi to her sister at Vanderbilt and her parents. So if anyone from the Hall family is watching, Charlotte says hi.
Unlike Amaya, she loves her family.
Oh wow! You realize this is live. You're gonna get our stream shut down. We actually had a kind of a funny incident earlier today, and it's not a big deal. Fabian was a little worried about it. Our early draw got flagged for a copyright violation by YouTube because people were playing music in the background. And it picked up like maybe the mic was on, but nobody was talking, so it just picked up the song. So we had like 34 seconds of Maggie May playing, and it got auto flagged. But the nice thing is they do have tools now for that sort of problem. I mean, I have friends who have bigger copyright problems. Oh, look at this run back.
I guess I should also say that anything that I or Ed says is not the opinion of any of the curlers on the ice, the Nutmeg Curling Club,
the GNCC, or the USCA,
or any other group that we've ever been associated with. They are solely the beliefs of the people.
That's true. We'll say that what you've been saying has been fun and lighthearted. There's been no issues so far. That was a nice attempted run back on B. Actually caught one of the Penn rocks, but just barely grazed it, so only moved it a couple feet. Did move one out of the forefoot. Opened up a little more room because both of the Penn rocks are behind the tee line now. So if
Bowdoin can get something
Bowdoin,
in there.
yeah, they have some backing to use. This rock from Adams very good too. Just gonna end up on the back. It will be another third counter. Everything behind the tee line, so Bowdoin has the opportunity here, but we'll have to make some good shots because the two red rocks on the bottom side of the screen, as you're looking at it now, are really stuck behind a bunch of guards.
They're opting for a tap back of that center yellow.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty good weight run back, and if they peel, they're probably okay with that too. Yeah, just a peel, and unfortunate to catch that other Penn rock and move it back to being a guard. Just an unlucky break there.
But they do have that wide open right side of the sheet.
Yeah, they have now a clear draw to the forefoot.
Rocks from Penn to sit on.
That's true. So long story short, I went in and just told it to mute the sound for the copyrighted portion, and I think we'll be okay. I don't think the feds are coming after our club or our stream anytime soon.
Something makes me think that, similar to the IRS with a grad student stipend, they have bigger fish to fry.
Cody throwing his first rock now. Just looking to cut down the draw, but he actually underthrew it, and it was going to hog by, I think, a fair distance, so they grabbed it pretty quick and just brought it down the ice. So Bowdoin has a shot here. They have an open draw to the forefoot with their first skip rock, and if they can ever get this buried or leave a jam possibility, their two is certainly in play.
Good.
Yeah. I think there's a liar's dice game going on over there now. I hear the shaking of cups, and with dice in them. And I believe today we're calling that game Cersei's Dice. It's all Game of Thrones things. There's Crokinole became Crow-Canole because there's crows in Game of Thrones. Yeah. And this one again, just sailing just a bit wide and didn't come back for him. So now Cody wants to come top four and just really close down that scoring area and potentially really put the game out of reach here if they can score a big end, another big steal. Cody, I said this before, but you don't know if she was watching then. Cody Clouser wants to say hi to Carly, and I think we also want to say hi to Carly.
Oh,
Hi,
yeah.
Carly.
I want to say hi to Carly. Hey, Carly.
Yeah. The idea on the sitting order in A, I didn't see the when that chat was made. Right now it's 2 red, but it's I think that comment was from a while ago, unfortunately.
Who is Colgate playing against?
On A?
On sheet C.
On sheet C, it's Colgate and Hamilton.
All right, Hamilton has taken the lead after the second end. They're up 2-0.
2-0, a score 1 and a steal at 1, it looks like. If you can just pop that up again, real quick. I got it. Okay, so it's, in case you're wondering, whoever's watching A, it is RPI 2, Villanova 1 after 2 ends. So RPI scored their deuce there in the second to take a lead. Cody's rock coming in a little short of counting 4th rock, but it's doing the job that he wanted of cutting off that draw line. Certainly possible to get in there, but that makes it more difficult.
Tom's got a draw pass.
Yeah, just got to get by that the rock Cody just threw, and it should have some backing back there if it curls in. So when I was out in Minnesota last week, I learned, or a couple weekends ago, I learned a very interesting curling variant. I'll talk about it after the shot because he came right down and threw quick. Rock's on its way. This looks like hit weight. And it will wick off and sit 3rd, but that's still going, or 4th, sorry, it's still going to give Penn a score of 3. Which will make it 9-0 after 3 ends. Penn looks to be in complete control of this game. Maybe we'll switch our focus over to sheet C, where we have a pretty competitive game going on between Colgate
and Hamilton.
Yeah, Colgate 1 and the Hamilton team. So let's let's stay on the far houses because we're going to switch games to C as our featured game. And we do have the far C camera there too. And we can change the scoreboard when we have a chance, but don't have to do it right now. Right now the score is 2-0 Hamilton after 2 ends. And looks like we're in seconds rocks here. The second for Colgate about to throw her second rock. We can find the Colgate 1 and Hamilton sheets. That's Colgate 2. So close. Some of them don't have names, so we may have to find one. There's a bunch of extra. Why don't we take all this crap out that is not related? Sorry. Bad language. I can't say that on the air. Okay. Red is Colgate. And yellow is Hamilton. There
Colgate
you go.
1 or 2?
It's Colgate 1. So we found the correct sheet. And I think this one's Hamilton right here. There you go.
There's just one Hamilton?
Yeah, just one Hamilton
Great.
team today. So. There are a lot of fun facts here as I'm looking at these.
So the third for Hamilton has just released her first rock. Nellie Green of Rochester, New York. She is majoring in creative writing and Latin, and her interesting facts, I could have saved 15% or more on Geico.
Yeah, it's probably true. She wants to say hi, Mom. There you go. So yeah, 2-0 Hamilton in the third now, actually. So it's down here though. You're good. You can just pop it up. That's why it makes it nice and
we've
easy.
got
There.
Stephen Paolini throwing his first vice rock.
Okay, I like his interesting fact when we get to it.
He is from Buffalo, New York, and majoring in physics at Colgate. His interesting fact is that he once beat Michael Phelps at golf.
But he is a good golfer. I've seen him do those pro-ams, right? And
Michael Phelps holds the record for the longest putt on TV. On video.
Wow.
It's like 100.
I don't think
Yeah, we
everyone
can't-
at home heard that comment.
No, but they might have heard it a little bit. But yes, we can. Frank's informing us that he believes that Michael Phelps is actually an excellent golfer, and I think that's true. 'Cause I think I've seen him do like the pro-am events where he is a good, as a good golfer, and that he may very well hold the record for the longest putt recorded on video.
All right, so maybe we'll see Steven.
A 159-foot putt by Michael Phelps. That is the longest televised putt ever. Yep.
Maybe we'll see
So.
Steven in some new golf curling biathlon.
Yeah, well, we do. There are a couple clubs that do them, including us. We have our golf and curls at the end of the season when it starts to warm up and we still have ice. Hamilton's sitting 3 right now as Nellie Green gets ready to throw her second rock. Sitting 4 actually. It looks. Oh, I can't see if there's a red rock. Nope. Looks like it's. Yeah, it looks like sitting 4. So. By the way, Steven wants to say hi to his mom, his dad, his brother, and his grandmother. So, yeah, full family shout out there from Steven Polini. To everyone back in Buffalo, I assume. I don't know. Yeah.
You know what happens when you assume, Ed?
I do. All too well. All right, so Hamilton set up pretty well here in this end and looking to pump another rock in, or at least guard their counter. Looks like the skip wants it sort of top of the house. Oh, you want this? What?
Speech. You can just talk.
You can talk. Just.
Is anyone asking a question?
Oh yeah. Double check the live dashboard.
No.
Nope, just had the one from before.
Oh, but we have 12 viewers now. Welcome.
Yeah.
New viewers.
I get to. There's 5 yellows in the house.
There are 5 yellows in the house. That one went just about where the skip was asking for it, right in the top of the house there. Tough spot for Colgate. They could draw on the right side of the sheet, which is what they're looking to do. There's still plenty of room for them to get in there. And it's not easy to count. The yellow right now, the best yellow rock is on the edge of the button, but
It's a very large button, so there's some room.
well, I mean, it's a normal sized button. Some clubs have small buttons.
Out.
Ours is like, I think 1.5 foot is about the normal.
The line's looking good.
Yeah, and the weight's not bad. It's got to slow down a touch. This may go too deep and sit second or third. It did go through to the back 8. Definitely cuts down the damage already.
Yeah.
They're sitting
And
third.
that's now well guarded by those 2 other yellow rocks.
Yeah, Hamilton's not going to play to remove that and make him throw against 6 or anything, because it's very, very hard to get to that. So they can look to sit another rock. They can take away that draw, maybe. She's looking at maybe a come around on the outside. She's considering a few different shots to skip here. The skip for, I guess it's the vice down there who's asking about the possible shots. The skip for Hamilton is Sarah Hosjen. She's from Allen, Texas, and is majoring in biochemistry.
Woo!
Yeah.
Biochemistry.
Yeah. And her interesting fact is that one time someone told her that Lil Wayne was dead and she cried. And when asked if she wanted to say hi to anyone, she said, Lil Wayne, rip, R.I.P. in advance, buddy. So Lil Wayne, if you're watching, there's someone who cares a lot if you pass away. This is actually going to be a very nice rock. That's going to make it nearly impossible for Red to score here. They can certainly cut Yellow down, but Yellow now has one sitting on the just touching the top of the button, and then has the counter that's buried, sitting a little bit into the button. You could try to play some sort of double, but you're probably going to roll too far if you make the double. Maybe not. There may be ways to make it with the right amount of weight. Yeah. Could play that double too. Could play a double on those 2. But you're not gonna. Yeah, we have not gotten a telestrator. We are working on looking for a telestrator app. there's a good one that's fairly expensive that I at least want to see if the demo works for us, if it's like good enough, because it has a watermark, but for the telestrator we might not care if it has a watermark. And then if we, if not, there's like this $15 third-party program that kind of, but it's not nearly as it's almost like MS Paint over the screen. So we may look at telestrator. Yeah, that double's possible, but it wouldn't be to count, so hitting the front one would be, in that case, more important. Because she'd probably sit second if you hit and stick on the nose of the front one. Of those 3 that are in or touching the forefoot.
Colgate skip Emily Schweitzer is lining up for her first shot. Her major is not just chemistry, it is mathematical chemistry.
Ah. What's her interesting fact, Allison?
She was born on an island and was the youngest of the first people to see the first sunrise of the year 2000.
Wow.
I don't quite understand what that fun fact was, but it did happen. It did happen, though. In the year 2000. In the year 2000.
Solid Conan O'Brien reference there. This is going to be not too bad. It is going to sit third. It was a little light to move the yellow enough to cuts Hamilton down to something's wrong here because Hamilton has already Hamilton scored the first 2 ends. Yet they seem to be throwing. Oh, there is one red left that I couldn't see out there. I was like, this doesn't seem right at all. So that was not the hammer rock. My mistake. So what I think that what Emily's fun fact means is that she was born on an island, probably in the Pacific, just over the international date line. And of the people on the island, she was the youngest, having been born there. So she was the youngest person to see of the group who saw the first sunrise of 2000. It's a lot to work through there, but I get what she's getting at. Yeah, I'm more impressed, or maybe slightly depressed that she was born in the year 2000, which is not that long ago to me. And but a lot of people here were probably born around the year 2000, right? Because they're all 17, 18 years old, a lot of the freshmen, sophomores. So, yeah. Some of us are much older than that, so.
Yeah. Some of us were making Conan O'Brien references about the year 2000 from pre-2000.
Yeah.
Like when it was this distant, interesting future.
Right. Although he did keep running that sketch until like 2003.
Yeah. I have some pretty specific memories of the year 2000. My grandparents came down to my house in Arizona to stay for a few weeks, in case Y2K killed the power grid.
Wow.
All those glitches that might happen.
Wow.
Because Montana would not be the place that you'd want your power and heat to go out.
That's a fair point. Not a good place to be if there was a widespread power outage.
But
particularly in January.
Absolutely nothing happened when the clock struck midnight and the year 2000 came.
I think the worst impact I read about was that some credit card readers couldn't only still read 2 digits, so they were starting to reject like all credit cards a couple days before the new year, which was an issue. But in any case, not a big one. I think we lived through it. Here comes the final rock, and I think this is actually wide and gonna.
I think we do more harm with our daylight savings time.
That's a rant that's about to start happening here from an Arizonan who does not observe daylight savings time. Well, not when she's in Arizona anyway, I imagine.
No, I would prefer not to observe it here either.
That's going to be a steal of 2. Back to the curling. That's going to be a steal of 2. I'm actually not sure what happened to that last one. I don't want to, without having seen the shot that well, I could even give her the benefit of that. It might have been a throwaway. There's not much. Although she could have tapped it up, so it probably just was a little wide. And but didn't impact the results. It ended up being 2 for Hamilton, which will make it a 6-0 score after 4. Sorry, no, after 4-0 after 3. They already put up the score. That was my confusion.
Numbers.
Thank you, numbers. So 4-0 after 3. definitely still a competitive game, but Colgate will want to get on the board here in the fourth to tighten the score up a bit before it gets too late.
Yeah, all the sheets are a little bit imbalanced right now. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if some of these teams can stage their comebacks.
Game on A is not terrible.
It is 4-1 RPI.
Yes, RPI's up 4-1. They're the Red Rocks, red, yellow. But Villanova does have the hammer down 3 in the fourth end of an 8-end game, so that's still a very competitive game. And this one could certainly still be a very competitive game if Colgate can put something together here in the fourth, get their deuce, and then start clawing back into it.
The Penn Bowdoin game on sheet B, Bowdoin took 1 in the fourth to get them on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it makes it 9-1, but even the end wins matter here because that's our second, like beyond wins losses, that's the next tiebreaker. It's the number of ends you've won. So one of the things you'll see the rest of today as these teams are playing through their final pool play games is that even if a game's a blowout, they're playing as long as time allows so that both teams have a chance to score as many event wins as possible, or end wins as possible. And I have learned the playoff format because I was a little bit confused. The top 8 teams will go to the playoffs, the top 4 playing for the A and B events. They'll go to an A event semifinal, and then the losers will go to the B event final. That's the 3 group winners and the best second place team. The other 2 second place teams will go to the 4th event final, and the best 2 third place teams will go to the 3rd event final. Any more games this season? Yes, there are 2 more draws after this one, Larry. Mitchell's right, so that was a good. Thanks for the help in the chat there.
Thanks for the assist, Mitchell. Okay, Colgate gets a nice corner guard with their first rock, just outside of the rings. Second Hamilton rock might sail through. Yeah, just going to be right out the back there, so no rocks in play yet for Hamilton, but Colgate does have that guard that they're going to try to use.
No, you guys are
So, Al's going to take a quick break, and we're getting a little Frank on the commentary.
I don't know if I can commentate and.
We do it all the time. You got this. I mean, you've done this 100 times at least, right? No, it does take a while to do everything. If you want me to handle this while we're talking,
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
I don't hear myself though. Do you hear me?
You shouldn't hear yourself. I hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
You should be good. Sometimes through the echo of the other one, but I've mostly turned off the self. Yeah.
What always confuses me about this stream is when you're on C, it's the left side of this camera
so
and the right side of that one.
We do have some issues that we've thought. I've flipped it, and then people have not liked that.
Yeah.
Because the nutmeg people, it's very confusing because they know what they're looking at, looking back towards the warm room. And yeah. So we've kept it this way. I sometimes will flip it when we show all 6 houses. If I remember to do it, we'll flip it so that they line up.
Right.
Okay. Still only the 1 rock in play. Colgate has the corner guard they can use here. They want to bury around there and set up a chance to get a multiple at this end.
Yeah, I like burying another rock.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. They
or
may
even splitting that red one in.
Split's fine. The if you ended up on top of it, the tap's fine. This is going to be most likely a second guard and one way out there on the wings of the house. They're going to get this to get in. They might want to stay with it. Nope. Gonna be
They're happy with the guard.
Yeah, that. I was going to say the guard doesn't guard much. You actually, if you did get into the edge of the house, you would be buried even at the angle of the person delivering. So one thing you won't see much of at the college curling level, if you saw a more competitive game, you might see with a 4-point lead them peel off that tight corner guard. Instead,
that college level.
Not that much. Some of the best teams that have, are very consistent hitters, and typically you'll mostly see things like that from the teams that have a lot of pre-college experience, and most of these teams, most of the players have learned in college. So Hamilton instead, which was also a fine idea, was going to come around the red guard, but left it pretty short.
That's a one guard.
That is a one guard, and
it's a very one guard.
A buried rock by Colgate here would now be pretty difficult to get at because it would be double guarded. So see if they can find their way into the house here. I'll do one more. I'm gonna take our glasses. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Have a water.
This one again
gonna
just
crash.
Yeah, just catching that top guard there. A little narrow, maybe a little light. A lot of guards in play, and if you're losing, that's fine. But with that center guard up now, it's going to be a bit of a race to the 4-foot. We're in Vice Rocks at the moment. Nellie Green throwing for Hamilton, trying to come around the center. Looks like it might be a bit wide, but I would guess based on the way the Supers are acting, this is close on the weight.
This looks really close.
They may have gotten on a little too late. Rock's slowing down fast. They throw in a path out there. It got a little wide where we haven't thrown many rocks yet, and I think it's still frosty out there. Okay.
That's still pretty wide, though. They should be able to come on the inside of that.
Oh, absolutely. On our ice, it's not curling nearly enough to go around there. The ice is actually curling. It's fine. Okay. I don't mind this at all either. She's going to try to go around the corner guard and leave the 4-foot open. Classic hammer strategy, especially with that centerline rock being so high.
Yeah.
Anything that buries around it, you may be able to get at anyway. If they can bury something around that yellow. Supers are running a little bit, but slowing down. I want to keep an eye on this actually because it's really dying. Gonna be in the house, I think. Wow, they're really digging just to get a bite. And that is in the house. Good sweep at the end there to get the wait. The line never quite curled up enough to get around the guard, but so Hamilton playing pretty aggressively here. They're going to try to go around that center guard and sit one.
Yeah, not even trying for the hit and roll.
No. If you want to steal, this is the better shot, but with a 4-point lead, yeah, you could definitely just play the hit. Based on the last couple, this looks pretty good. I think this line may be faster, though, and it's holding its weight much better than the last couple of rocks we saw. This one's going to go to the back, maybe through. Yeah, almost tack weight.
Don't even need to sweep it out.
No. I would guess she actually didn't throw a much different weight on that than the one she threw before, but the other one was quite wide. Jeff Hannon just stopping by the media center to pick up his reading glasses. Yeah. So now I would consider, she's going to look to draw around those center guards and sit 2. Super's waiting for this one to curl up a bit. It looks like it's on the yellow guard, but if it'll slow down, it'll move past it. And it is moving past.
Supers are off.
Could just get a tick and roll in.
Oh, tick.
Does it have enough to roll it in? It was close, but not quite.
It's a lot of red in the front of the house there.
There is. Getting late in the end, though.
Tap one of those in. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. I imagine now Hamilton will play the hit. It's wide open now. They're that tick also removed the red rock wasn't guarded, but there was the yellow that was certainly in play to be hit if you were trying to hit the red, and it's no longer there.
Yeah.
Moved it a couple feet to the side. Not sure about that weight. It's sort of in between. Maybe a hit. May just tap it back. It looks like it's on the red right now. Yeah, may not have enough to move it out. Close. It's going to push it to the back of the house, but yeah, just to the tee line. Okay, red's still sitting one. Yeah, I definitely think you want to look at those taps now. Even playing one as a split.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable, you can play. Yeah, with their you can hit and roll in. If you hit the yellow thin, you can roll behind the guards without losing your counter, but it might be a little dangerous. If you hit and sit, if you tap and sit second, you'll.
If the ice is playing as straight as you think it is, you can probably still draw right through there.
Yeah, I don't think it's super straight. I think it's compared to maybe what they were expecting. It's a little less. I was saying to Allison before, we had the rocks flipped. They're new rocks from about 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And we just flipped them to run them on the second running surface. It hasn't been used yet, and so they're fairly sharp. Our ice itself was running relatively straight. But we're getting about 3 feet of curl now, which is certainly a playable amount. It's a little on the low side, and depending on the line and how you throw the rock, some people are seeing a lot more curl than that. Looks like they may be playing to throw up a guard on their counter. Nope, we're looking. I'm not sure what they're calling.
No idea. Back and forth.
Back and forth. In any case, first rock away from Colgate skip, Annalise Simons, I think. Sorry.
Looks light.
Yeah, I think she was actually trying to guard their one and just maybe draw for 2 on her last shot if she gets the chance. And that will be an effective guard. Yellow does have a tap back, but tougher than what was there before, which was just an open hit. Annalise Simons, who is skipping for Colgate, is... I'm sorry, that's the lead. We have... they filled out their sheet differently, so... Emily Schweitzer is... we've already talked about. What is the skip, and threw a nice guard there.
Do you guys have ice mics or no?
We do not have any mics out on the ice yet. That's something we're going to look into, because as this developed over this season, we've been working on this for a while, but didn't really get any momentum towards getting a good stream together. And this year we finally started to really do a good job of getting all the equipment we needed and setting this up. One thing I said, I've kind of become sort of somehow the head of the streaming department.
That works.
But we've talked about, like, one of the things we want to do for next year, just to get a little more ambient noise and a little atmosphere, is to get a on ice mic. It's could be a nice tap. Ooh, just caught the red guard. Rolls it into second shot. Now, it does make it a little tougher to draw in there for the second point for red, but there are plenty of places you can go because all you need is full 12. So. All right, so we should see Colgate get on the board here, barring an unexpected result. There are taps to play for 2. I think one thing to keep in mind that the skip might not be realizing so much is that they do only need the 1. They only need to, draw the 12-foot. Full 12 will do.
Well, I approve of them playing on the side without the 2 yellows in the front.
Yeah, I was thinking the only thing is if you hit that red, if it overcurls, you can still tap through. But that's okay. You're good. Yeah, I mean, if you know the line well enough, you could pretty safely draw away from the center line towards the wall. But yeah, if you're not quite sure, you want to stay away from that yellow for sure. You might be able to do this where you hit it. So if you hit that red a little off center and don't transfer as much weight, you can throw in, backline weight through that hole and just shouldn't move so much that you can't hit the red. In any case, Emily's last rock is away now. They're going to want that to curl up a little bit. Maybe it's a little late too. Supers are on it. Going to come through the hole. This has a chance if it has the weight. I think it's just a little light. Close. Didn't quite get the weight on that. And it's going to end up being one red here as that comes to a stop. So good news for Colgate, though. They are on the board. After 3 ends, they're down 4-1. Hamilton will have the hammer back for the 5th. Over on sheet A, it looks like MIT. Can you pull up the teams for me again on that thing? Is it? RPI 1 has now a 5-1 lead after 4 ends over Villanova, and on B, UPenn up 10-1 over Bowdoin 1. Yeah, it won't come up though.
Oh, that doesn't work?
Yeah, there's not enough room in the text box to show that. Sorry. We got the names of the teams, so we'll keep the people informed. Yeah, that's the score on C. We did have, and I need to set it up again, when we have a third person who's doing production stuff, I had at one point made 3 little corner scoreboards that were lined up so they could do ABC and update everything, but yeah, still new in figuring out what works best for our setup. We got a pretty good game here on C, 4-1. So now I can say that's Annalise Simons throwing lead for Team Colgate here. Annalise is from Atlanta, Georgia. She majors in political science. That was one of my majors, so I approve. And her interesting fact is that she wanted to be a poet when she grew up, and that she once had a Webkins named Petunia. And I don't exactly know what a Webkins is.
Don't know what a Webkins is either.
But it was named Petunia. And she wants to say hi to Antonio, so if Antonio are watching, Annalise says hi.
Antonio, if you're watching, come chat in the chat.
Yeah, come say hello to us in the chat. All right, first rock goes to the back 8 for Colgate. And looks like
if games were to end now.
If games were to end now, wow, we can give that sort of information. If only I had a graphic ready for this, but yeah. Spiel coordinator Fabian, and I learned how to pronounce your last name. Schrei. Has updated us. If the games were to end now, this group would be won by RPI. RPI would be 3-0, which would be, so they would be the clear winner of the group. UPenn and Villanova would both be 2-1, but right now UPenn would have the tiebreakers to take the second spot over Villanova, and those would be the 3 teams with playoff eligibility at the top of the. So all our winners here would be at least in the playoff hunt.
That's some up-to-date information right there.
Oh yeah, that is some advanced stat keeping here. Oh, that was a unexpected result on B. A lot of rocks moving around. Thanks, Allison.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't think it would take that long.
What was that?
I said I didn't think it would take that long.
Yeah, it's okay.
How's Frank doing?
Frank's doing just fine, and he's handling the production.
Commentator.
Yeah.
I'm doing the cameras and the commentating.
Yeah. That's often what I do on Tuesday nights, so I get it. It's a little more challenging than doing one or the other.
Although, since you don't have the long view cameras, it's kind of easy.
Yeah, you don't need to make as many transitions. Yet we have some PTZ cameras out there that we want to that we can alter their what they're showing, and I may be able to get a couple long views, which would be nice. But we have a couple technical things to go through before those are available to us. So I have a question for you, Allison, that me and Frank were stumped. Yeah. We're going to get Allison Goldberg back on the...
Oh, gosh.
So we were looking at Annalise Simons' information. So when she grew up, she once had a Webkins in Petunia. Do you know what a Webkins is?
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't know, so if you could...
Well, they're like little animals.
Right, they're like... I got that. I got that they were sort of like a more advanced Tamagotchi or something.
That's
right?
exactly the reference I was going to use. Like a modern day Tamagotchi world.
Okay.
But they had like all the materials around the Webkins, like all the stuffed animals and stuff that look like the Webkins.
Right. No, I did recognize the name. I just didn't really know how they worked. So you could. Okay.
They all live within Webkins World.
Ah.
A multi-award-winning virtual world for boys and girls age 6+.
Wow. So technically we could go into Webkins World, but we're not really the target audience. We are 6+, but we're too much plus, I think.
A little too much plus.
Okay, well, while you were away, Colgate did score in the fourth end to make it a 4-1 game. And they're sitting 1 now behind a couple center guards, so...
I believe the new Webkins for kids is Roblox.
Oh, I have heard of those. I know even less than I did about Webkins. I think I had an idea that they were sort of like a Tamagotchi-ish thing that lived online. You could kind of like the amiibos for a lot, like that Nintendo has, where you buy the figurine and then you can use it as like your in games. So these were stuffed animals that also would come with a component that you'd have that available to you in the Webkins World Online. That's what a world we live in. We're already in the future.
Kind of how my cousin got Minecraft figurines for her birthday.
Oh, yeah. Minecraft is something I've never played, but
it's
definitely popular.
Rather cube-y.
It is very cube-y.
I prefer my graphics higher resolution.
Wow. Graphics snob over here. Another nice shot here coming in for Colgate, as they're really setting up a pretty good end here. Yeah, that rock is just, it may very well, from our perspective, looks 100% buried, and we're very close to it. Now red sitting 1-2 here, down 3, looking to steal. This might be the dinner bell.
Dinner is served.
Yes, it was.
Dinner. Stop the game on the table. Anyway, enjoy dinner.
I think he's just saying, don't get
If you are eating dinner at a table, make sure the table's clean.
After dinner. Just a reminder to everyone we're eating here. The announcement you heard was dinner related. Okay, Hamilton trying to follow down that red rock. This is actually close. This is if the weight's there, this is going to be pretty nice. Oh, a little heavy and hangs out wide and actually pushes that to the back of the button. Right now, there may be a way to go right through the middle there and chip it out. Actually, there's much more than a rock's width there. It'd be have to be a pretty good weight hit, but could definitely get it out of there if you wanted to.
So we might still have former Penn player Fergie as one of our listeners.
Oh.
If we do, you'll be happy to hear that Penn is now up 10-1 in the sixth end against Bowdoin.
Yeah.
And just hi.
Fergie was one of the several Penn and Yale curlers that Allison made signs for last year. I remember his specifically, is why I said that.
Yes. He got that shot was Fergalicious.
Delicious, yeah.
That's some dancing emoji people.
Yeah. Speaking of emojis, did you see the Emoji Movie?
I did not.
I heard it was very bad.
You know what movie
I
is
didn't
going to
see
be
it.
great?
Well, we got
as great.
Wick and
Just draw.
catches the back yellow to sit 3. What is going to be great?
Paddington 2.
Oh.
Alright, how do I get a replay on that?
Oh, hit minus 20 real quick.
I did.
Okay, now hit this button here. We're going to see a replay of our of the last shot here. This is an excellent hit and roll. As you'll see it come back in. Sweepers had to go late because they just caught that rock and then used the other yellow's backing to sit 3 for red. And in about 1 second, it'll go back to the... There you go. And it'll
Nice shot.
transition right back to the... yeah. All right. Hamilton's still going to try to come around that center guard here and get down to the red that's on the back of the button. If they can get it by the guard, this is close. It does just slip by the guard. Now it needs to slow down. It won't count, but it will sit in front of those 2 reds in the back. So, and that yellow is probably going nowhere. So, definitely
nice
at the
way
very
to
least,
minimize the damage.
limits the potential damage here. Then, with a 3-point lead, that's definitely something useful. You make sure you're not going to give up some sort of huge steal here and give away your whole lead at once. Okay. Colgate, considering what they want to do, I think, Steven in the hack here may be pointing out that he can see all of their rock between those 2 guards. I'm not sure. Can't hear the conversation from here. We do not have on-ice air or on-ice audio, as we said earlier. So, definitely an option just to guard and play to steal their 1. You could also try coming around again and out-counting that yellow on the back 4. I like this though. She might even be looking to. She looks like she might be coming in around the guard, which may not count. If you made it, I think this will serve them better if it whether it gets in front or behind that guard, if it comes across enough to guard their rock that's counting right now. She looks like it might be pretty hot. Supers are off it, and they're going to watch it come in. It may go right into the hole here. This may actually work out. Oh, just caught a little too much of that yellow. Moves over. Actually probably opened up the shot rock a tiny bit more. Good effort. Just needed to either knit the yellow a tiny bit thinner or much thicker so that they'd leave their guard. As with a lot of the college curlers playing without a ton of experience, don't want to make any assumptions about what people can or can't make, because I don't know most of these curlers. First time I'm meeting most of them, but they may. I mean, that isn't an easy shot, and if you can't throw a lot of weight, getting it through that hole to make that hit might not be a viable option, which might explain why they're looking more at like a tap back or something here. Which is perfectly fine. You have to play to your team's strengths and what shots you think they'll make.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
He shots away the lines there for the tap. I don't know if they got the weight. It's still moving, but it looks like about front house weight, so I don't think it's quite going to get there. It's going to hit the rock, and they're both going to stop just in front of the house. So, Red's still sitting 1. Colgate's still in a position to steal this end with skip rocks coming up. It looks like Colgate skip Emily Schweitzer is going to come around those reds on the left side of the sheet. Wants to be somewhere in the forefoot. Does have some backing. Can't be too heavy because it does need to curl past those guards, but she throws anywhere from top 4 to back 4 weight. They'll be able to sit 2. And not an easy 2 for Hamilton to get rid of at the moment.
Are you already counting? No, I was just gonna write the date. These weapons has many bands.
Super's on this early. It might be over curling into those guards. Yeah, it looks like she's got a piece. It is. But there is a silver lining there. They actually tapped their red over, where I think they're very effectively guarding their shot rock now.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but you could build a that's the thing. But we'll get
It looks like the Hamilton skip throughout the game is electing to not go down to the far end to pick her second shot.
Ah, yes, letting this is actually her first rock even, so she may just be very happy to let her vice call the shots when they go down there. Again, playing what looks like a tap, but that yellow rock
Looks
not
like it's
gonna
coming
move.
up just a little light.
Yeah, once again, just tapped it a foot or so, not into the house. So the situation actually hasn't changed much in the last few rocks, except that the fronts got junked up more. In terms of what's scoring, it's been that one red rock for a little while now, but that rock's getting a lot harder to get to. The more rocks are being thrown, everything has come up short in the front of the house and in the center. So I could see Colgate with the broom they took either throwing another guard to just completely lock it down and almost be assured of getting the
tap
one.
back to count 2.
They could be playing the tap for 2 also.
Because
Yeah.
being down 3,
Yeah.
I could see how a skip would go a little aggressive.
Yeah, certainly.
Seems guard-like.
It has the properties of a guard. Although the sweepers are going on, it actually has a pretty good amount of weight. I think they're maybe drawing in. This could get by everything and just draw right to. Wow, what a shot off now, and now they're going to have 2 on the button.
Oh man!
Yeah.
So while this shot from the overhead view might have looked not that difficult, if you're on the ice throwing the rock,
Yeah.
I'm standing behind the thrower, and it looks pretty difficult.
Visually, it looks very daunting. The guards are separated enough, that it's not as bad as it looks, but it's still hard to throw that rock and feel confident about it. So, very
Really
nice shot
nice shot.
from Emily there, and again, someone I haven't seen curl before has a very nice delivery, and he's throwing some good rocks. So we're waiting for the skip. The skip and the vice, neither one seems sure what to throw here. This is it's a difficult situation. You could try following them right down, but I don't know if you could do it with enough weight to even sit second, because you'd have to bump the back red a little bit at least. Might be possible actually, but you could also try running back yellows, but they're staggered in a way that makes that very. In fact, if you go to the overhead view real quick, Frank, the way the yellows are staggered, that red guard that's just off the center line means you probably would have to hit those 2 yellows that look almost lined up. You'd have to hit it on the outside. They're far enough
Which
apart.
then your back yellow's going out rather than forward.
They're not close enough for that to
So-
be useful with a drag effect. It's going to go out. It's just going to be sort of
That
conventional.
outside yellow, the angle is questionable if you can get at those reds without clipping your own yellow.
Yeah, I don't think you can, and nor can you get to the nose of your back yellow to drive that
So
back.
I think they're going with a lower weight tap back to try to just get that outside yellow to do effectively what they would have done with a draw.
Sure. Okay. It's going to be a difficult shot no matter what they throw here. I don't really hold it against them, whatever they decide, because all these shots are tough. Thing you want to do is just be careful you don't knock something in, but I don't think that's possible either. This is pretty...
It's looking like it's over curling.
Yeah, I was going to say it's pretty close to maybe hitting those inside ones, but as we said, it's not going to work if you hit the inside or the outside of that, which is what they did, yeah. So spread the yellows a bit, but didn't actually get anything into the house, and in the end it's going to be a steal of 2. Really well played in by the Colgate team. Made a lot of shots that were left not a lot for Hamilton to do late in the end, and that's going to make the score 4-3.
Yeah. This is a real barn burner.
It's a barn burner. I think it's too early to call it a barn burner yet, but I like the gumption. Another word we like. Yeah, no, this has been a good game so far. Even though the score, I mean, they jumped out to a 4-0 lead, but it looked like the teams were very competitive with each other. The ends are just going Hamilton's way early, and now they seem to be turning a little bit for Colgate, so expect a good finish. Yeah. 8 end games, yeah. 8 end games, although I don't think we're going to get 8 in this one because the way our timing works, and you can't see this on stream, we do have a clock above the far end sheets. When that timer runs down to 29 minutes, yeah, so when that timer runs down to 29 minutes, they'll play the end they're in and one more. Now, they're starting the 6th end, but there's only 32 minutes on the clock, so... unless they finish this end in under 3 minutes, which I think is impossible, or almost impossible, they'll be playing.
I think I've done it once.
Yeah. You can do it on purpose. You're not going to score any points if you're... kind of defeats the purpose. You're still going to play 2 effective ends after that, but...
Before the other person stops sliding.
Yeah, you could just try to play that way, yeah. Yeah, we're going to be looking at a 7-end game here. That was a very nice center guard thrown up by Colgate to start the 6th here.
You should have done a replay.
You could have done a replay. Guards don't get enough love.
No, they don't.
No. So,
but a lead that can throw some good guards, essential to team success.
Worth their weight in gold.
Berg.
Wow. Well played. It's almost as if someone here plays lead and wants more credit for her shots. Well, Allison's played lead for me and knows I've appreciated every guard she's ever made for me. So, Allison, all your fans back at home want to know is when will you make your triumphant return to the curling ice? We're recovering from an injury right now. And
yeah, so someone decided to break their foot.
Oh, it was a decision? Yeah.
No. It was distinctly not a decision. March at best, probably not this season.
No,
which
probably.
is a little bit unfortunate.
That's too bad.
But fortunately, I have some friends, a couple of them on the stream with me today, who are willing to play with me in some summer bond spiels, independent of whether I'm remotely good and practiced.
Yeah, sure, of course. Well, I don't see why that matters at all.
So I'm hoping to get in something at Bucks and maybe Phoenix this year.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can. We're definitely are going to have a team for Bucks.
Yeah.
I assume we'll be able to get in. So it's very important that we play at Bucks so that we can see the chairs we bought. Well, the chair plaques we bought. Yeah, they just.
That's why we gotta play.
Yeah, well, it's also a very nice club. They did not have a warm room the last time we were there, a real warm room. They had a sort of a room at the rink that they were using that was being used as sort of a makeshift warm room. But they've built out the warm room now. Looks beautiful in the pictures I've seen. And we both contributed to the
I
Building
did.
fun, yeah. You under another name, I believe, when you bought the
Yes.
thing. Yeah. I'm going to that person's birthday party next weekend.
Ah.
It's their first birthday for Benjamin Allen
Westerberg.
Westerberg, yeah.
Yeah. My shout out is to Ben Westerberg.
Yeah, all right. Allison Goldberg would like to say hi to Benjamin Westerberg.
Let's hope there's YouTube when he's old enough to understand.
I feel like it might stick around for a while.
I don't know. People said good things about Bitcoin.
That's true. Hey, if you got in early, you've still made a lot of money.
All right, this rock is just overcurling a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to stick around in the house, but not outcount that yellow and just slip by there.
But I think they were going for the freeze there.
I think so. They do have 2 center guards to use here. They have, if they wanted to, they don't necessarily have to hit the yellow. But I understand getting a little less aggressive and not being like all out steal here, because now you're only down 1. You know there's another end. If you.
We've missed the entire time that Hamilton's skip is throwing third.
So she is the skip, and she's just throwing third. That makes a lot more sense. That's our fault as commentators for.
So, shout out to either Nelly or Sarah. We're not sure which one is skipping.
That's a fair point.
And
Which one's
apologies for any things that we've wrongly attributed to switching them up.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
No, it was more.
I don't know anything more about the case, but I know that.
So we've been informed that I'll let you announce the news because I didn't completely hear.
Sarah is skipping in the
And
fantastic
throwing.
multicolored sweater.
It is a lovely sweater. We and throwing third on the team though.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Awesome.
Thank you.
I appreciate, especially at these college bonspiels where a lot of us have not seen most of the curlers before. Parents and loved ones are a big help to us in the warm room because we.
And identifying who on a team is who.
Yes. That's what I was thinking of before. You were saying hopefully YouTube will be around for Ben to see your shout out once he's old enough to understand your shout out. But by the way, a beautiful draw in there to the top 4 again. Colgate really putting on the pressure these last couple ends, making some nice shots. We've made jokes here because people have asked how long the videos on YouTube will be up for, our archive of our videos, and it's like, well, right now it appears to be probably till the end of time or until the format is completely no longer valid, because now that Google's taken over, I feel like they might have enough storage space to host an unlimited, effectively, amount of video. I could see something where at some point they do things like, if your video hasn't been watched once in 24 months, they'll just start removing the really old stuff, but I don't know. I haven't even seen anything like that yet. So. There was a... Oh, almost a nice come around there, and that's actually still a effective shot. They'll sit second and third with hammer now, Hamilton. Eventually they have to get into that one red, but what we could see here is an end with a lot in the balance where Colgate tries to guard their 1 to tie it up going into the final end, but if they're only counting 1, Hamilton having those other rocks in play, I mean, if they ever get there, they could put the game away with a big end. So always fun and interesting ends to watch when that's both of those are in play. That yellow rock, by the way, also really well placed in terms that you hit like a third of a rock, you can make an in-off off your yellow and get rid of the red. So that red rock, very nice, but precariously positioned.
You're gonna play the double.
Yeah, it looks like that's what the shot call was. Yeah, they're going to call it double. It's a little light
I
though,
think
and
it's
it's
still
going
a
to
little light.
This actually may end up being a draw. Maybe they were trying to. Sometimes hard to tell from the broom because either shot's possible. Now the only issue here is they're going to sit 1-2, but this could leave a double for.
Yes.
No, I will say it does not leave a double because the red will jam on the back yellow, but you can get rid of the best red, which is the one that's buried, and using that other red, push that one back a bit. There may be ways.
If it were
to
me, I'd definitely go after that.
I still think it's
gap.
worthwhile because this is this is the easiest way to get rid of the red that's hard to get to. That's kind of buried right now. You can definitely live with that jam. You could also, I mean, there's a lot that can happen here. It's not impossible to get rid of both reds. This looks like it's coming in wide.
There are a lot
of people. If it can catch the outside of the yellow, though, this could still work. It'd be helpful at least. Yeah. Well, it pushed the one red to third shot. So yellow's now 2 and might even be fourth. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's yellow 2-3 again. And the yellow rock, it probably won't matter because both teams are going to want to use these rocks a little bit at some point. Red's one, though, certainly, and no more than one. Yellow can now definitely use that. It's even better angle for the in-off now than it was before, if they get a chance to use it. Now anything from like a third to like a less than that. I mean, like a quarter to half a rock probably will take out that red if you hit your own yellow first.
I think Colgate's thinking about how they can get rid of that yellow so that
get rid of the
Hamilton
yellow,
can't use it.
put a second one into count 2, or they're looking at a few different things. I think that's what the idea is. Well, how do we want to deal with the fact that this rock is good and our rock's a little bit vulnerable right now? There. While we're waiting for the action, how's your fantasy curling team doing, Allison? We are in a fantasy curling league, Allison. I and Frank, all three of us are competing in that league right now.
I'm in like last place, I think.
Well, no, you're not in last because I know who's in last, and he's sitting somewhere else in the room right now.
It's somewhere else in the war room that we're in.
Yep, I see him.
Yeah, so I am not first, but I'm not last.
Your team's been pretty competitive. You're not too far out of it right now. Right?
So one of my teams, DeCruz, just took the Meridian Canadian Open last week. Those points helped out.
Yeah, that was a big win for you.
I've also got high hopes that my Russian women's team will pass all the requirements to represent the Olympic flag.
Yeah, we're making
in Korea.
no assumption, no allegations against any women's curlers from Russia. Just catches a piece of theirs. It's going to slide to the back. Well, just missed catching a piece of the yellow, which would have worked out nicely for them. Might even have rolled behind there if they hit it really thin. All right, well, I mean, Hamilton definitely has a chance here to play an in-off and get rid of the counter. Not you could even, yeah. Both ways would work. They're looking at some other options, but I really think you want to come in and play on that red rock now while it's open to you. Allison, of course, referring to the fact that Russian athletes who have not been implicated or playing under the in any other doping scandals the last couple of years can still play under the Olympic athletes from Russia flag. And for our fantasy purposes, it doesn't make any difference where they're from.
Nope.
As long as they play and they win some games, we'll get some points. So, where do you think Hamilton decided to play something kind of like a draw down to on the red? Or a light tap back on the red? Based on the broom, I'm just guessing.
It's looking a little light.
It's going to be a tap, and it'll sit second. But, yeah, it was close. Just needed to get a little bit on the outside there to tap it to count. Now Red's still got that nicely buried rock, and I think it's time to think about guarding it. Oh, I'm not sure what are they going to come? Yeah, they're going to definitely come that. Okay. A little confusion when the Vice and the Skip were looking at the line. Vice tried to play a line that probably wasn't there because you'd run into other guards on the way, and now play it this way is the easier way to guard. Nothing in the way. You can guard the gap. Want to just check the chat real quick, see if we got anything. No chatters. 16 people watching though. Our audience grows by the hour, by the end.
Yeah.
I understand why. It's an exciting game. I would imagine. I've never really looked at like the numbers and figured out who's watching. If it's anyone I don't know, but I have to assume there's a few people who are stragglers who probably have no idea, but they see curling is live and check it out. And we got an exciting game for them, so maybe they'll stick around. We've certainly seen it in the larger curling broadcasts on YouTube. You definitely get people who have no idea. Oh, all right, the guard's coming in.
Oh, it's close, but not quite.
Oh, it's going to be...
Colgate has hogged their rock.
That's going to give...
There's another opportunity here for Hamilton.
For... this is Nelly, who is the vice, but throwing fourth.
I believe so.
Yes.
Do you know if that's Nelly?
Sorry?
Do you know if Nelly is throwing?
Nelly.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
We have confirmation.
Nelly throwing her first rock with the hammer here in the 8th.
I think they waited a little long.
They're playing that tap
here.
again. This one's closer, but they've got. I would keep going all the way in. It was that close, and they didn't sweep. So now they are sitting 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
That was a nice rock thrown by Nelly.
It was.
It was about 6 feet of sweeping short of what they wanted to do.
Just needed to catch it maybe an inch more on the outside and add a little weight, and sweeping would have done both of those things and would have gotten in. So very interesting situation developing because Yellow's got a ton of rocks in there. They're sitting 2, 3, 4. So Red has to be careful. Colgate here could play a straight guard. They could sort of corner the Yellow and guard that way. Or they could play something to try to steal 2. They could go in. I don't know if it's easy to get there to sit second shot because you're probably shutting one. I'm actually not sure what they're doing with this line. Any ideas, Allison, of what the shot might be? Maybe they're throwing a guard up on the Yellows out there in the corner. They want a corner guard, yeah.
I think they are, but I don't know why they would come from this side.
Yeah, the only thing I can think is that maybe they really, really feel more comfortable with this line, but it's a little tricky because... Now, if you were ever to crash the guard, the one nice thing is you might push it into guard what you want anyway.
I was going to say the one benefit is if you hit those front Yellows, you're still maybe clogging up that line.
Because this is not getting off the guards, so it's going to be a matter of where this Yellow goes to. And I think they're going to hit it nose enough where everything's going to bounce around nicely for them.
And they got a good guard out of it.
So there's probably no draw for one. I think the shot here is the angle raise on that Yellow in the top 12. It's a fairly short raise, so it's very makeable. You can look up here, maybe, if you can't see out there.
I'm good.
You're good. You got it. I know they're as we say, the skips and vices do sometimes get in our way here on sheet C because they're right in front of us. It's not their fault. they're where they should be.
I was looking around to see what the skip was looking at.
So what do you think? Did they come to the same conclusion, or?
I think they're gonna do what we think they're gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, not much else to throw here.
Which is an angle raise on that Yellow.
Critical shot in the game. If they make this is...
Nelly's rock is about halfway down the sheet.
It's got to come back, but it has a chance. This may be I don't think it has enough weight to remove the red, but this could be a tap for one. If they can angle it in to sit one.
Oh, not quite enough, I don't think.
Not quite. It's going to be red. Red is full for... It's one red. They're taking a look, but yeah.
That was an inch.
Yeah, absolutely. Very close to getting a point. What that does do for us is set up a very exciting conclusion here, because... as it's going to be tied up at 4 heading into the 7th end, but due to timing, this will be the final end. I'm right about that, Fabian?
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Okay. Spiel coordinator Fabian Schrei. Yeah, the Penn game will go 8. As we said, the score on the Penn game is lopsided, but every end matters for tiebreaker considerations. So certainly both teams are going to try to at least score in the 8th here. And the second tiebreaker is points scored, so that also is a factor. I saw that. There. Yeah, but go all the way to the bottom. Yeah, I've done that. I have it off. I've done that once. Not fun. When you're out there.
Awkward for everyone.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right, we're down to one end game here on sheet C. Though we definitely got
tied up.
Yeah. Hamilton took 4 in the first 3 ends. Colgate's come back to take 4 in the last 3 ends, and we're playing one more end to decide who's the winner here. And I think definite playoff implications in this one. I think the winner will be in, have a chance to.
Can I call this a barn burner yet?
Oh, this is a barn burner. Whenever someone uses that word, it makes me think of the movie Hoosiers. Because when they play the final game, you can hear like the radio announcer for the state high school championship, and he's like, and as it gets down to like a 2-point game with less than a minute left, he's like, "This is an old-fashioned Indiana high school barn burner." So I feel like that's a word from that era, but I like the word. This is definitely a barn burner. I guess the question is, who's burning the barn over a sporting event, though? Just because it's close.
These rocks are opposite.
Yeah, we like our barns cold and full of curling ice.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Like Owatonna? No.
Owatonna, I think.
Owatonna.
I haven't been there, but I've seen the pictures from our friend Kelsey. I wonder if Kelsey's watching. I think she's busy. She's helping out. So interestingly, there's 2 college spiels this weekend, and we're close to the end of the points gathering for this year's nationals. So, yeah, both teams kind of scoreboard watching at both the clubs. At the there's a spiel being hosted by Carroll University out in at Kettle Moraine in Wisconsin, with a lot of the Midwestern college teams. So maybe a bit of scoreboard watching for the teams that are on the nationals bubble to see who's getting points and who's not.
You may have heard some clapping in the background. We have a final on sheet B. Penn has won against Bowdoin.
Yeah, I think Penn pulled away early and won most of the ends, but Bowdoin did get on the board and scored an end, and you don't know if that's going to... again, that's why we're playing all of them with the tie-break system we have. Even the every end could be a difference in someone's tie-break score, so... Yeah, we're looking at some of our options for. Yeah, no, just something we set up. Frank,
that rock's just a little too heavy.
Yeah, slips through the back.
Gently glides through.
So a little interesting start to the end where Hamilton has the hammer but has the rocks in the center of the house. So they're happy they're rocks. They'd probably prefer not to have the center guards necessarily, but them being Hamilton's rocks is certainly beneficial to them. So our producer today, Frank, has used the software before in the Potomac Club, which uses... Sorry?
I'm exploring a little bit.
But he's exploring what we've set up as some of our graphics and stuff. So if you see some random things flash on the screen momentarily, Yeah, I set up some of the graphics to be, unfortunately, like click and set on so that you can quickly use them. And so as you explore, they might pop up. No one's going to care. It's okay.
Rock.
Yellow has the hammer and 2 center guards.
Yeah, yellow,
Three center guards.
unfortunately, has 3 center guards with the hammer, which is not ideal.
They were attempting to draw in on that.
Yes,
shot.
of course they
It
were
was
trying to
just
go
a little
around
bit light.
that. Yeah. Like I said, and now actually that is a little problematic. Before, when they just had the one there that was fairly tight to the house in the center line, chances are you'll be able to use that if you need to. Now that they're staggered, though, if Colgate can get around those, it won't be easy to get them out. You'll probably have to peel your... You can make a double peel on your front. You'll have to peel your front yellows before you have a chance to get after them.
This is a bit of a race to the button.
Yeah, the way the end is set up, that's all they're going to be doing here is whoever gets can get behind those guards, the top 4 first, is going to be in good shape. Oh, man, sweep ticket and leaves more
and
junk
Colgate
in the front.
adds to the center guards.
Yeah, there is a... We have a Game of Thrones Bonspiel theme, and there is definitely the wall in the front of there, guarding the house, which I suppose is the north from the rest of the sheet, which would be Westeros.
Yale's going to try to draw around all the center junk.
Yeah, they're... I think now, with so many center guards, you're kind of committed to playing in the center, even if you don't necessarily want to here. Because the first team that makes a shot behind that center guard pile is going to have a big advantage.
Well, they're on a guard.
They're on a guard. If this sticks around in the corner, that's not bad for Hamilton. Hamilton having the hammer would definitely not mind having kind of a saver rock, where if at the end... So, of course, Colgate can outcount that at some point, but if there is a way to hit and roll out, now Hamilton has a rock that will still count. Kind of nice in a tie game in the last end to get that rock.
Just takes one to win.
Just takes one. We were talking about this in the last draw. The points don't really matter anymore.
No blanks.
It's yeah, we don't need a 7th end blank. I think we'd go to skip rocks at that point in the spiel. Yeah, at this point, it's important to remember, especially if there are some people out there, friends and family, who don't curl much. Once you get to this last end, it's a tie game. The only strategy there is be the team counting. There's no worry about how many you're scoring or the risk of giving up a big number, because you just have to put yourself in the best position to score. So you'll see a lot of ignored rocks that are in the house, because what's really important is getting closer to the button. This, speaking of which, if this has the weight, it could push that red in. I don't think it had enough to, slow down a bit. If it had a little more weight, it would have gotten right to nose and pushed that right into the top 4.
Looks like Hamilton's going for that draw in again.
Nutmeg Curling Club said hello. He tried to get a response. How many viewers do we have for this exciting? Only 11. There may have been some viewers for the game on Sheet B. I think, did we have some? I don't know. I know you have friends who are former Penn curlers watching.
Yeah, we had a few.
Okay, so they might have dropped off after the game ended. Trying to get around this guard just doesn't get there, and
again, just a little light, clips that center guard.
Yeah.
Axe has a corner guard of sorts for that.
Yeah. They don't necessarily need to guard that rock, because I don't think Colgate's going after it, but
nope.
Does guard the rock if it ever does come into play that they want to go after that rock.
Colgate is firmly drawn to see if they can beat Hamilton to the button.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll also say for anyone watching who's not really a curling person, friends and family, especially on a college spiel, these have been a lot of close misses. It doesn't look like they've gotten anything, but we've had a lot of rocks just clip a guard or just be a little light. Teams are actually not playing badly at all, even if we're saying these aren't the shots they're trying to do. We've got another attempted draw in here, which is also just going to come to that center pile. So the one thing I can say about that, if you're a Colgate fan or a fan of someone on the Colgate team, having a ton of junk in the front, in the center, is definitely favors the team that's going first. That's the only place they can really score. They need to get into the middle behind something. Hamilton, with having the last rock, would prefer not to have things closed off to them. They'd rather it be open, but they're going to try to get back behind there first now. They certainly... Because it's too late to clear out all those rocks. There's too many of them. It's all about getting behind them now, and I think this is going to add to the pile, or at least clip the pile, and getting trickier to get in there now.
It will add to the front house guard situation.
I'm prepared to make an extremely nerdy reference as we get a couple of rocks in, but I know the people here in the booth with me will get it, so we'll see after. Once we get to the first critical shot, whether it's red having a count on their last shot or yellow, I will make my nerdy reference.
Thank you for preparing us. So it's all the more pressure if we don't get it.
Yeah, you will. It'll be terrible. Hey, Chelsea Blank, coming here and showing off the dinner.
Chelsea with us, showing us what we're going to eat when this game's over.
Chelsea, you want to tell us what you're having for dinner?
Having a big pile of vegetables, Ed.
Awesome. Big pile of vegetables.
I think there's some chili in there.
No, there's no chili, just a big pile of vegetables, Allison.
It's basically everything that you would have in a taco except the meat.
Right.
I put cornbread on the bottom because it's kind of like a vegetable.
Yeah. Cornbread is similar to a vegetable. I mean, it has corn in the name, first of all.
Yeah, and corn is kind of a vegetable, even though it's completely a starch.
We're vegetable adjacent.
Yeah. It's as vegetable as ketchup.
Oh, yeah, at least as vegetable as ketchup. All right, Colgate's first skip rock coming in, and they're looking to play a tap on the red here that's on the right side of the house.
Looking a little narrow, but they're doing some directional sweeping to try to bring it out.
Yeah, I think they're trying. It's just not going to get there. A little late, and... So probably advantage back to Hamilton here because Colgate has to make something on their last rock now to put them under pressure. It's interesting because it's Hamilton right now counting one, and Colgate only has one more chance to outcount them. But if they manage to make something count here, it's going to be very difficult for Hamilton on their final rock. So Hamilton might still want to try to get in there rather than leave everything alone.
It looks like they're going to attempt to draw on the left-hand side.
Yeah. Certainly has a chance here. Got to make sure it's past the red rock. That's the important thing. Don't want to tap in red. It's going to be light enough that it doesn't tap them in. And that actually might have made those shots over there, at least for Colgate, a bit tougher. So.
Yeah, though that does give Hamilton an out of something to promote with their last rock.
That rock's usable. I agree. Frank's pointing to us here on in the booth on our screen that chances are Colgate's going to play that tap on the
back there.
red rock. It's the most accessible rock they have. It's the one that's closest to the house there on the high side of the screen as you're watching at home. Skip the Vice has put the broom down pretty close to it, so it looks like that's absolutely what they're playing. There's a little chatter out there. Fabian's out there talking to them. Might be a timing issue, just to let them know what's going on. So let's see. Red has to make this, and I don't know. This is like a... what do you have to roll on your athletics check to make this one out? It's not impossible.
I would say a 17 out of 20.
This is about a DC 17 athletics check. Little Dungeons and Dragons humor for you there. I'm killing Allison here, sorry.
Is that the reference you were waiting to bring out?
I told you it'd be nerdy. And it was.
Yeah, that's a tough monster to fight there.
Yeah. Okay. But this has got to curl up a little. It's close, but it's just staying on that. Now here's the other question: can you tap this up to count? Can they get a piece of the white? And I don't think they can. Oh, it's not quite. Nope. So that's going to leave Hamilton sitting 1. They won't have to throw their last rock unless they want to. And while points can matter, I think there's danger just about everywhere here. You could tap in one of the way ones out on the side if you wanted to, but I would be more inclined to throw it away in a 1-point game. Yeah. It looks like she is going to go for one of those. I think she threw it. Yeah, just to. Yeah, this is one thing where if they're not experienced curlers, they are allowed to just throw it into the board. So, but she threw it so light as to make sure it wouldn't be a problem. So that's fine too. Effectively the same thing, and that'll make our final score: Hamilton 5, Colgate 4. Great game. A great comeback by the well, it's listed here. Oh, that was the next draw by Colgate. I was like, now it says MIT. I was a little confused, but now great
Hamilton.
Yeah, great comeback by Colgate to tie it at 4,
yeah.
but and then Hamilton managing to take one in the 7th end to secure the victory. So that was fun. Thanks for doing a draw with us. Oh, so you're going to go here. So we'll do a little replay and play all, and we're going to send you out of this draw on a highlight reel here of the best shots of the draw today. Yeah, we've got 5 highlights for you. Awesome. So we'll be back for, I think there's an 8 p.m. draw. We'll have someone on the commentary or at least have the video up for you. So if you want to watch more curling, 2 more draws after this one. Until we shut off the stream, enjoy the highlight reel. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thanks for tuning in. This is Parker. Hi, Parker.
Officially.
Well, you should say thanks for tuning in.
We were in the same room.
Want to do the next one?
I think I got a Facebook picture.
I remember they watching you specifically, like your team, because you were the team with 3, and I was like, oh, like they're playing with 3.
Like 15 people, including him.
I said I would. Now you got the home.
You have home ice advantage. Also a plus having that 4th player.
If he fails, let me know. I got a Fergie for you.